What's happening? I decided to go ahead, start with this here, and EDC my D2 fixed blade at work. And everything worked really good. This thing is a cut-in full. A lot of other knives I've owned, I mean, I don't know, when I cut a lot of cardboard, a lot of plastics, stuff like that. And I noticed that other knives I had, it's like it'll start to kind of dull out after, after a while of cutting. This thing here, it's like it just wants to keep cutting, and keep cutting. There's no, like, I don't know, it's not starting to, maybe there's only one little spot down here that drags a little bit. The thing is just, I don't know how to say it, it just keeps going as far as holding an edge. Some more testing. I might carry it to work tomorrow again. I'll let you know how it goes. I don't have a lot of freight. Maybe I'll carry it on a day when we get some loads in, and I'll do the loads with this. I'll tell you how it performs. Well, anyway, to the video at hand, I was working on a liner lock folder, which was a big bindle full of parts, before I got involved with that knife that I did for the. There's a cancer benefit for a guy who needed treatments. So I didn't have any real money to donate, but I had some steel and I had some G10, and I went ahead and ground out a 9.5 inch blade with red and black G10 handles, and I got a video of it on one of my other posts. But anyways, that thing wound up selling for $375. So it was for a good cause. It went to charity, and I turned some metal into money for that guy. I don't know but anyways, what happened is I took a detour from my regular thing that I was doing, which was this project here as a test knife, and my main project, the liner lock folder, also made from D2 tool steel. And I don't know if you can get a close look at that. It's pretty rough still. But here's the blade. At least it opens up. This is just a rough mock-up. This isn't really how it's going to look. There's a lot of things that have to be changed on this knife. Clean up the grind a bit. Of course, establish the lockup right here itself. Also, the stack, I have to determine how thick this is going to be, and then deal with this spacer here accordingly. And I did kind of a screwy way of doing the pins. I use these long, not pins, but long screws. Well, I'm going to put a clip up here and then put 2 more screws on top of that. Not the best way to do screws, but it's just kind of what I work with, just on this particular model. And then I also have to determine where this is going to go, how deep this is going to be. I might wind up sawing some of this off right here, some of this pivot pin off. So I have to do fitment in here, in the middle, finishing, and then I also have to do the scales too. The scales are kind of like, they have a lot of lines in them. Where I ground, I can't really get those perfectly smooth. And I'm okay with that. This is my second liner lock folder here. So I at least have the ability to close it. I have a stop pin that's stopping it about where I want it. And I have a thumb stud produced here, and I know the liner is going to pop up once I do the final fitment on there. I have to file this back here so it comes out a little more straighter. I might leave it like that, I don't know. And I'm kind of kicking around an ambitious move here, but I have this void here that I wound up with. Now I'm thinking about just removing this and providing a finger choil right here. So I'm going to do that. I may or may not do that. We'll see. I'm kind of leaning toward it because it's it's a little bit of wasted real estate, and I may be able to benefit from that. I don't know, but that's how it looks. That's the rough mock-up of it. But I'm stoked. I'm stoked that I got this far along with it, and there's a reason why they're so expensive, guys. You pretty much take this thing apart and assemble it 4 or 5 times to get it right. Everything from making sure your liners are machined down, so there's no marks from the drill bits, to making sure your liners have a nice aesthetic looking finish on the insides. You know, there's quite a bit. I mean, it's weird because in some ways it's very simple, but in some ways it can be very complex as the way the fitment goes. And then of course you got other unforeseen factors like making sure that your blade's centered. This blade's pretty centered because there's 2 screws in there centering it. I got to cut those screws down that hold the scales on also. You can see in there too, between the spring and the tightness of the pivot. Some people like put their own test on what a quality liner lock is. I've gotten factory knives that have slight deviations where the blade rests, and usually that problem is corrected by just taking maybe just like an 8/16 of a turn, and that'll usually take it right out. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in liner locks lately. I guess, you know, when you think about it, you know, people, they want the most for their money, so the demands are much higher than they used to be, which is fine. You know, people should have the most for their money when you sell them a product. But right now it's just kind of practice for me. So I think this is going to be an EDC. A little on the big side. I may just gut a little bit of belly out under here. I don't know. To see where that pin's at. Also have to be cognizant of where your point's at too. I might just go ahead and grind that down a little more and let that come down to more of a rest. We'll see what happens. Well, anyways, that's it. Just a rough mock-up. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Thanks. Bye-bye.